Hi guys, so today I thought I would share something really personal. I've never really shared each of my miscarriages, each of those little ones' stories, and I thought I wanted to share their stories. So if you guys don't know, I've had 6 miscarriages and I've been married 8 years now. So a lot of my marriage, I'm starting to realize, has been mourning. A lot of my marriage has been sad and difficult because of the loss of my babies. There has been weeks that have gone by where I haven't thought about them, where I've suppressed that trauma. But lately there's been days that I think about them all day and miss them. My first miscarriage, I was between 10 and 12 weeks, and I was in college. I wasn't married, and I made a whole video about that. It's kind of cringy though, because I think I made that video to make a video for my channel, not to process my grief, not authentically. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. So I actually don't even like that video, and I've tried watching it one time and I'm like, I can't watch this. I need to delete it, and I haven't done it yet. But honesty. So I lost that baby between 10 and 12 weeks, and I was devastated because a miscarriage is trauma. It is trauma, just like birth is trauma. But I was also relieved because I was not married. I was in college, and I had been dating this guy for like 3 months, and we definitely weren't ready to have a baby together. And now that I'm a whole lot older, I was 19 when that happened, and definitely not ready to have a baby. But that doesn't mean that I wanted to lose my baby. I didn't. I would love to have her here today. In my dreams, she was a little girl and she had red hair. And I'll get to meet her in heaven one day. But I had that first miscarriage, and my doctor said, I went to the ER, and the doctor there said, these things happen. Most women have one miscarriage. This is totally fine. You're not going to go on to have miscarriages. And I put it out of my mind. I did not allow myself time to process what had happened to me. Well, my boyfriend and I broke up because we both didn't allow time to process this, and we tried to pretend it didn't happen while it hung over our heads, that we had lost this baby together. I dated another guy. We were very careful. We always used condoms or birth control, and never had any miscarriages or issues with him. And then I met my husband, and we got married, and he's the love of my life. He treats me amazingly. He's so great, guys. I should make a whole video about our marriage. Like, he's wonderful, and I love him. This video may be very rambly. So I met my husband, and we wanted to start a family right away. I was 27 or 28 when we got married. We got married in 2012, and my husband is 3 years older than me, like sometimes 3 years, but sometimes 2 because of his birthday. And so we wanted to start a family right away because we were both approaching our 30s, and I ended up having 2 miscarriages. We tried for 2 years to get pregnant, and we couldn't get pregnant. We didn't know what was wrong. I was devastated. I thought, because of the sin in my past, I had premarital sex, and I thought God is not going to give me a baby because of this, which is not correct. Like, it's not the right way to think biblically about consequences in the world that you see in your life. But then we did get pregnant, and I was over the moon excited. So as I was trying those 2 years, we went paleo, and then I got pregnant, and I was like, wow, I'm pregnant, we're gonna have a baby. And then I started bleeding, and I realized I was having another miscarriage. And I went into shock, I think. We went to the hospital, they diagnosed me with a miscarriage. We lost the baby. I didn't ask them to check the sex. I didn't ask them to do anything that I wish I had done. And we went home, and I bounced back really quick. I didn't allow myself any time to grieve or any space to feel what I was feeling. I just tried even harder to have a baby, and we got pregnant again. This was probably in year 3 of our marriage. And I had another miscarriage. And that was my 3rd miscarriage, and that was when I realized, something is wrong. Something is wrong with me. And I went through probably one of the darkest times in my life. One of 2 darkest times in my life. But we'll get to the other one later. I was severely depressed. I had severe postpartum depression. I had a miscarriage. I was postpartum. It was really awful. I read books all day. My husband would come home from work, and I would just cry, and I didn't know what was wrong. I had no basis for understanding why I couldn't just bounce back, why I just couldn't be okay. So I did a lot of things for that 3rd miscarriage to grieve. I bought some special memorial jewelry. I talked about my baby a lot. I allowed myself to feel horrible on Mother's Day and just stay home all day and watch videos and eat chocolate. I didn't go to baby showers. I stopped going to baby showers because I realized they were horribly triggering to me. I created good boundaries with my infertility journey. I started going to this infertility group that met close to my house, that was with this thing called the Motherhood Collective, and I made some really good friends that were also going through infertility, that were walking with me, and I felt supported and loved and mentally stable for the first time after these 3 miscarriages that I had and that I went through. And then we got pregnant again with my 4th pregnancy, and that pregnancy was really hard. He did survive. His name is Reuben Alexander, and I love him. He's 5 now. And but all through the pregnancy, I just knew he was going to die, and so I couldn't talk about him. If someone would mention him or mention my pregnancy, I would change the subject. I couldn't handle it. I could not allow myself to love him. And I'm sure it was weird watching my husband love my baby, because it would make me really stressed and anxious. Like, how can he do this? I couldn't really form it into words as it was happening, but I didn't allow myself to love my baby until he was born, because I thought he was going to die, and I thought, I have to protect myself. I can't go through this again. But he lived. He was born at the day after his due date, so 40 weeks and 1 day, and he was 10 pounds 6 ounces. He was so perfect, and I thought, God has given me a son. We named him Reuben, and I fell in love with him instantly as he came out of me. And that's not the case for everyone, and that's okay if you don't love your baby right away, if it takes time for you to learn to know them and everything. But as soon as he was born, I was like, he lived. He didn't die. I can love him now. And that's how it was for me. Postpartum was really rough, but I thought, now that I've had this baby, maybe I could have another one. Maybe I'm okay, because we stayed paleo, on the paleo diet, until I was like 20 weeks with Reuben, and then I just couldn't do it anymore because I had horrible morning sickness. But we went on to have another miscarriage in between my daughter and my son. So when my son was 8 months, I had a miscarriage, And I was so in love and so busy with my son that I did not allow myself time again to process and emotionally deal with having a miscarriage. And that was wrong. I should have allowed myself time to grieve. I just flung myself into life with my son. He had a lot of problems. He didn't sleep. He had a lot of allergies. When he was, I think, 18 or 19 months is when I got pregnant with my daughter, Becky, and she lived 2. And this was the first pregnancy I had that I allowed myself to love my child in the womb. I allowed myself to dream about the future. I talked to her, I cuddled her, I told people about her, and that was really healing for me. That really helped me process just everything. And she was born, she was 8 pounds. I did the keto diet with her pregnancy. I made videos here on the channel about it. And she was 8 pounds something when she was born. She's my second baby, so I don't remember. And she was so beautiful, and I thought, God has given me a daughter, a second child. I thought I never even have one. Like, this is amazing. Maybe I can have another one. Like, I allowed myself to hope and dream. Like, maybe I could have 3 kids. Like, my dreams of having a large family, they could be true. Like, yes, I've had miscarriages in the past, and yes, I've had trauma, but look at these beautiful 2 amazing blessings that I have. And so we hoped, and we planned, and we tried, and I got pregnant in December of 2019, and I had morning sickness, which with all of my miscarriages, I have never had morning sickness, so I thought, well, this baby's gonna live too. And I knew he was a boy, and we named him James Thomas. And I miscarried him in January, the first week of January, between 6 and 8 weeks. I missed him so much because we were gonna have a little boy for my son to have a little brother, my daughter to have a little brother. And he was so excited. And I thought, why? Why is this happening again? And after I had that miscarriage, my health has been abysmal. I have extreme autoimmune problems, and by the way, through these miscarriages, I have been going to the doctor. I've had blood work, I've had testing, they can't find anything. I could go to a fertility specialist, like that would be the next step, but I just haven't done it yet. I thought I didn't need to because I have 2 kids. Like, I have 2, like, 2 lived. I felt this amazing peace from God when I was having that miscarriage in January. Like, this amazing, like, peace of God just came and wrapped around me and told me it was gonna be okay. And it was. Even though I was suffering from autoimmune problems, I said, we're gonna go and we're gonna try again. For the first time, I felt so good. Like, I felt so strong. Like, my body felt strong, my pregnancy was strong. I wasn't having any morning sickness. My mom and my sister, both of them, they don't have any morning sickness with pregnancy, so I always thought, like, I'll be like that, but I'm the opposite. So I had no morning sicknesses, and I knew it was a little girl, and I was really excited because Becky was gonna have a sister. And I miscarried on Mother's Day. It was like the worst day of my life. I had to go to the ER because I was bleeding really heavily. I was shaky and dizzy, which are all warning signs of hemorrhaging. And I was pretty far along. I was probably around 12 weeks, but they said the baby had stopped growing around 8 weeks. And this was the second darkest time of my life. During COVID, after I got out of the hospital. And by the way, the doctors treated me like I was diseased. when I was there. I don't think they knew they were doing it. I think they were just scared of COVID. So I went to the ER. I was there all day. We got a bill for like $4,000. We can't pay it. We're gonna have to pay like $20 a month. I've had miscarriages and gone to the ER before. It's never been over $1,000. Nothing different happened. It's just, I guess COVID has made everything more expensive for healthcare. I have no idea. I have insurance. And after this miscarriage, my 6th miscarriage of my little girl, I got chronic fatigue. I don't know if you know what that is, but I literally couldn't get out of bed for about a month. I had zero energy. It would wear me out walking across the room, and it was one of the second darkest time in my life. I went to the doctor. No one knew. I got diagnosed with depression. I probably did have some depression, but it wasn't fully depression. I started on Lyme's disease herbs, and I got better. That's a whole nother video. Stephen Buhner's chronic fatigue herbs. I did his protocol in his book, Healing Lyme. He has a chronic fatigue one too, but the herbs were really similar. And that was another about $500. Anyway, so through all of June, I couldn't get out of bed. In July is when I did the herbs. And August, I had the worst gut health I've ever had. I could barely eat anything. Everything made me inflamed. Everything made me sick. I went to see a naturopath. I tried all of her stuff in September. It's now October. I'm a little bit better. I found out I had candida, like a lot of candida. And my gut health is still awful, but my brain fog from the candida is better. I don't know what to do going forward. 6 miscarriages, I think, is my limit, unless we go to a fertility specialist. I think I might have antiphospholipid syndrome, which there's really no cure for, and nothing I can do about it if I do have it, so I don't know if I want to go find out if I do have it or not. I'm still focusing on eating healthy, really, really clean, exercising, taking care of myself, self-care. It's been really hard. Back when I had my miscarriage, my last one, my 6th one, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything that I loved. It was all taken away from me. Could barely even take care of my kids. If my husband hadn't been working from home, I don't know what we would have done. So the last few years of my life with all these miscarriages has been one of sorrow. But there has been joy in that, and I do believe God is still good. He has given me 2 wonderful children for the times that I have them here on earth, and I love them, and they're amazing. And we've had so many good times together, even while I was sad going through miscarriages. And yeah, those are the stories of my miscarriages, and I hope that nobody has to go through this. I hope nobody has a miscarriage. When you have one, you understand what other people have gone through. It allows you to have sympathy, but you still would never wish it on your best friend or your worst enemy. I never wish a miscarriage on anybody. So yeah, I don't know why I made this video. Processing. And October is Baby Loss Awareness Month, and I'm going to give myself time to grieve and heal, and I'm going to know that I'll never be the same. I'll never be the same person I was before I had all these miscarriages. I'm never going to be the same person before all this trauma happened. I'm never going to stop missing my babies, and that's okay. I don't have to bounce back. Things don't have to go back to the way they were. But life does go on, and I can go on and carry these babies with me. I can do it. Bye.